Hello, this is Sheila Sophia, the podcast. My name is Mem Sahib Amonet. Because some of us are not content to simply carry the name the ancestors left us, there is a second act to this play. I reached a point where I had to name myself again. I knew I would likely always keep my government name, but I needed another name. There are multiple aspects to my being. I express myself in various ways, and this one, the one talking to you, needed her own name. Mem Sahib Amonet came to me because I once asked the darkness to name herself, to tell me who she originally was before humans called her a villain and wrote her off as the powers of evil whose only relational function is to be cast out. Mem Sahib is a title. It arrived in East African coastal culture through centuries of layered contact, Arabic trade routes, South Asian presence, colonial adjacency, and it settled into the vocabulary of that coast as a form of address for a woman of rank. Not merely wealth, though that is part of it, but rank. A Mem Sahib is a woman who commands specific shifts in any room she walks into. Her presence reorganizes the social structure and interior design therein. There is a dignity in this that cannot be performed. It is, yes, assumed and also assigned, but more than that, it is self-given. I chose it because I have always understood myself that way, positioned in a particular way, relative to personal authority and sovereignty, to space, to the right to take up room without explanation, to actually not care that there are rooms if I don't feel like inhabiting one in this moment to begin with, to trust that whatever rooms I'm not in aren't going anywhere. They'll be waiting for me when I need them, because that's how I do. And it's how the universe hears my music. I debated with myself, back and forth, to and fro, for and against, on why the title Queen just didn't fit. Malkia felt like a thing society confers upon you. Malkias have codes of conduct, an expectation of how they must show up in society, guides or haunts them for life. Most times, it is a heady mix of both. A Mem Sahib decides what her madamhood is about. She decides her level of income, if at all, decides if she will be legitimized by a man or by her own self, decides if her maternal status defines her or not, decides if she'll pass on the baton or let the world know there can never be another Mem Sahib quite like her. Queens don't have that much room to decide. Their mannerisms are decided for them. There is a code of conduct. There is a way you're supposed to show up. There's who you're supposed to be seen with and who you absolutely cannot be seen with, because then it creates other kinds of problems. Not having an heir is inconvenient to a queen. What kind of work they can respectably do is predetermined, and there's seldom a selection of options. It's not that wide. Queens are prisoners to their own power and position. A madame, a Mem Sahib, has agency. She's free. She chooses what she wears and how she wears it. No reason to worry about the diplomatic impact of her adornments, because she's, well, likely one of the reasons diplomacy exists as a field to begin with. And then Amunet. Amunet, or Amunet, is the oldest dark goddess in human record. Her mythology isn't one of those that are revised and canonized and made supposedly safe for children by infantilizing women through control of their morality. She comes from the very beginning of what humans understood about the sacred feminine. She's primordial, the dark water before form. She's not the goddess of something. She is the goddess that precedes the categories. The Amen, the Ashe you say after every prayer. Her lore is that she emerged from the ocean, from the Nun, the undifferentiated dark water, from the void that is not empty, but is in fact the fullness that contains all potential. And from herself, she created the ocean to experience her own flow, then gave herself some land to flow and rage over, because why not? The land, she decided, was male. Because again, why not create a male to provide context to your female? Why not create a stable foundation upon which the fullness of her range can be realized or perceived? Why not create a light that can illuminate some of the beautiful things you are as the dark? She didn't need it then and doesn't need it now, but I like to think she thought it fun to do. She's likely the only girlie with that kind of male, though. The ocean is the only girl with a man that acts right consistently, stays in the place you put him, and ensures she has room to do what she wants. She did not arrive into a world that was waiting for her. She was the condition of the world's existence, the waiting and the world and the ocean that keeps reproducing are nothing without her. There is no thing without her. The Spirit of God hovering upon the waters in the dark. Like I said, the void. The Spirit of God being the waters, the dark, and the void. I'm a child of the water. She's the only mother I've truly ever had. The ocean does not explain herself. She does not justify her depth. She does not apologize for her storms or perform gratitude for her calm days. She will swallow shipfuls of people this morning and be a slick carpet by afternoon. Not a peep, not even a ruffled wave. The ocean simply moves, and in moving, she's always responding to forces most people cannot see, and at her own pleasure too. The gravitational pull of a moon, the memory of a wind that passed 3 days ago, maybe 1,000 years ago, the heat of a deep current that has been traveling. When you live near the ocean long enough, you stop trying to predict her and you start learning to listen to her. And the difference between those two things changes you quite some. Listening to something is a spiritual practice I learned from the water. Not listening for, though that is important in its own context, as in, such as in waiting for the thing you already decided you'd like to hear. Listening to, which means openness, without agenda, no need to project or prescribe, making space, allowing the thing to reveal itself in its own time and on its own terms. The ocean will tell you both the truth and about herself, but only if you are not performing your listening, only if you're actually present enough to receive something that you did not expect to hear. This is Amunet's gift. She's not illuminating anything. She's containing everything. She's a space in which truth becomes visible, the dark water from which all the light eventually rises. I carry her name because I know that is what I am doing here. Not shining the light for its own sake, but being the depth from which the light has something honest to say. See you the next time I feel like saying something.